We are back.
We are home.
We are Wimbledon.
Interesting. Right, well, apparently we're having interesting sound issues here, which is intriguing. Oh, no, we're not. There you go. You can hear us. This is me now talking over some highlights. That must be incredibly irritating for you at home. Hello, everybody. That was a terrible missed header, wasn't it? And Ryan Longman wraps it up with the third. There we go. Well, there we are. So that's what happened on the pitch, and then afterwards we had the thoughts of the gaffer, Mark Robinson.
In terms of tactics, it felt like Ipswich would provide a sort of similar challenge to Fleetwood a couple of weeks ago, real solid at the back. How did you think you could counteract that before the game?
Well, we knew they'd be solid, so we knew we had to cash them out. You know, when we won the ball, we had to play forward as quickly as we could and firstly run forward and then play forward. I didn't think we actually did that well enough the first 10 minutes. We kind of got back into old habits a little bit of, we found our first pass, but it was backwards instead of forwards, and you can't always play forward, but you need to play forward and run forward as quick as possible. So that was the thing. We knew they were very solid once they got back into their shape, and they hadn't conceded many goals, so we had to play forward quickly, and that's what we did. I think if you look at the lead up to the second goal, you know, we played forward very, very quickly, and then a great cross and a great finish. So that was the key, but at the same time we knew they broke out their shape very well, so we had to need to make sure our shape behind the ball was good. And you know, it was possibly one thing, especially when they went to 10 men, we could have done a little bit better, but you know, probably picking holes.
Perhaps elements from Saturday and tonight's victory that you would love to see at Plough Lane, packed crowd in the future, elements of those performances.
Yeah, and you know, and I said it on Saturday, Chris, we're longing to build that attachment with the fans, you know, and you know, and there's lots of things the players are doing that you wouldn't see, that you will know off the pitch. You know, they're volunteering now off their own back to go and help with the Dons Local Action Group, and you know, we're dying from the fans to be. And I actually thought that then when Longy went and did that press, and he pressed again and went in the keeper, and I was thinking, wow, you know, if the crowd were here now, that would be the sort of thing they'd love and they can identify with. So, you know, hopefully the ones who are watching, they saw things that they can identify with and they're excited. But, you know, fundamentally it's 2 games and it's 6 points. It's great, but we've got to be relentless and we have to be ready to go again Saturday and Tuesday.
We can't really leave out Will Nightingale for a special mention. His first goal for Wimbledon in 3 years,
Yeah.
but it was his contribution at both ends, really, wasn't it?
Chris, I think, you know, people will think I'm biased because obviously I've known Will since he was 9, and it's not bias at all. I just think he's an exceptional young man, and I think he was literally foot perfect tonight. I can't remember him doing anything wrong. You know, he's playing on his left-hand side, and you know, when I asked him, can he play on his left? He said, of course I will. He'd do anything, and I just think he's you know, I think he's been labelled a little bit at this football club, and people forget how good he is and how effective he is. And as I said, I think he was foot perfect tonight. I'm so pleased for him. He's got his goal, and he's been so influential in what we've done. And you know, and he's just a very, very good human being and a very, very good footballer.
Great to hear from you, Robbo, as always. Cheers.
Cheers.
So that's what Mark Robinson had to say, and then afterwards we spoke to the academy graduates who used their head. It's Ridoni and Will Nightingale.
Well, 2 academy graduates here, and of course 2 headed goals tonight as well. Starting with you, Will Nightingale, of course, as well. What, your 3rd senior goal we're going for now, yeah?
Yeah, obviously I want to be adding to my goal tally. It's been a long time coming. I've said to the boys, the set piece coach, and to the boys as well, I could feel a goal coming. I fancy myself from set pieces, so I've got to start adding that to my game, really.
Absolutely, of course, yeah, that's the essential, isn't it, for centre-backs to be getting up there and scoring, isn't it?
Yeah, I've had a couple of near misses, and that's what's been frustrating, because it's always been like nearly scored, but then obviously no one remembers that. If there's been one off the line or one just wide, no one remembers it. So
we're claiming the one against Chelsea as well now, then.
Yeah. I was the last person to edit, so it's got to be mine.
Rudy?
Yeah.
We also see sort of a lot from you in terms of the magical feet, but a headed goal tonight.
Yeah, I've seen Lukey pick up, and you know Lukey's delivery is on the money a lot of the time. So I just remember taking a centre back front post, and then I've peeled off him, and it's landed on my head. Just easy part for me, head it down, and it's gone in. So buzzing, yeah.
For the pair of you as well, starting with you, Jack, of course, as well. Working with Mark Robinson now, important wins for us tonight, and you're really buoyed by doing that for him tonight, yeah?
Yeah, very happy. Me and Will known Robbo for a long time throughout the academy, so going from the Accrington win as well, 2 wins on the bounce is what we haven't had for a long time as well. So everyone's buzzing with that. Just need to push on even more now. We can get some more wins till the end of the season.
You've really stayed positive, haven't you, Will? The whole group has stayed positive under Robbo during this time.
Yeah, for sure, we have to. Obviously, like Rudy said, we've known Robbo a long time. He's a likeable guy, and he's the sort of person where you want to run through brick walls for him. He's been brilliant since he's come in, but again, like Rudy said, we've just got to go game by game. We know there's a job still on our hands, and we've got so much potential. It's scary, really, so we've got to start living up to that and start improving game on game.
Well, there we go. That's what the players made of it. Now let's find out what the commentary team thought. Over to you there, Rob and Mikey.
Afternoon, Charlie. Afternoon, everyone. Of course, very important day for Wimbledon here at Plough Lane against Swindon Town. We've seen results elsewhere for Rochdale and Wigan. It's important we win this one, Michael.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I think the Dons are in the kind of the box seat, if you like, out of all the 6 kind of protagonists, if you like, at the foot of the Sky Bet League One table. We've got the games in hand. We've still got to bring Rochdale here, of course, a week on Tuesday. But of course, as you rightly say, Rob, teams are suddenly getting little runs together, sudden signs of revival. I mean, obviously Wigan have sort of overtaken us now. Rochdale had a win sort of earlier today. Northampton blew their chance last night, so it's really kind of a dogfight century really at the foot of that table. But again, it's in our own hands, which is the most important thing. We've got those games in hand, and against a side with 9 defeats in their last 10 league matches, who seem to be going through something of an implosion kind of off the field as well, dispute between the club and the supporters' trust. The ideal opportunity for the Dons to make it 3 on the bounce.
Particularly, we've got somebody like George Dobson in our lineup this afternoon, midfield, of course. He's been through this experience before with like Walsall, hasn't he? And you have to win these battles against the teams around you.
Yeah, I mean, generally I find that players use disappointments and elation sometimes as a springboard to further their kind of achievements, particularly if you've been going through a relegation or say you've lost out narrowly in the playoffs. it will then inspire you to make sure it's something that you never ever go through again, because it's such a crushing disappointment of that type of thing. And as you say, George has been through it before, and I think as the weeks have gone on, maybe a slightly inauspicious start, and not exactly rave reviews from some of the Sunderland fans who saw that he joined us on loan. But I think as the weeks have gone on, of course, they showed he can score goals again with that header against Wigan, and really much more in control in the centre of that field. And we're finding a lot of the time when he gets the ball, picking up little loose balls, really dictating the tempo, and he's the real kind of the heartbeat at times of the Don's side, and he's become ever more prominent as the weeks have gone on.
Let's have a look at that Wimbledon lineup this afternoon. Of course, Ben Hennigan, the one change coming back into it. And having served his suspension, that's the choice that Mark Robertson's gone with, Mikey.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, it was very interesting to know how Paul Callenby did on Tuesday against Ipswich. For me, he came in and gave a pretty much a faultless display, kept the likes of Drynan and of course James Norwood very much under wraps, of course in conjunction with Will Nightingale alongside him. So maybe a fraction unlucky not to have that kind of continuity again. 2 games on the bounce this afternoon. Hennigan, of course, opinions used to be divided on maybe how unlucky he was last Saturday at Accrington to pick up that yellow card, but of course took his medicine, took his punishment, back in the lineup this afternoon, and he, prior to that suspension, had formed an ever more dominant and sort of outstanding central defensive partnership in the weeks where the Dons have suddenly picked themselves up and starting to haul themselves clear of the bottom 4.
Yeah, 6 points, of course, already this week from Accrington Stanley and from Ipswich Town as well. A real opportunity this afternoon to get to round this off with 9 points, which would really put us in a very promising position, wouldn't it?
Yeah, very much so. When you look at some of the other fixtures that we've got remaining, we've still got to pay Ipswich a return visit. Perennial bogey team Oxford come here on Tuesday. We've got to be able to play at home to Portsmouth. It can be sort of a bit hit and miss against them. Lincoln, of course, maybe looking to close out their playoff credentials on the final day of the season. And of course, Rochdale, the only remaining fixture against what you would deem to be a struggling side. Although having said that, they've already won earlier on today, so nothing can be taken for granted. But the games in hand, the position at the moment, it's all very much geared up to. For the Dons to take advantage of this great position they've managed to work themselves into. It's in our hands, and again we can have no complaints if things go adversely at the final reckoning.
And historically, what have things been like on this day, Michael?
Saturday the 17th of April, actually, Robert. Funny you should say that, because we don't concede goals. You go back to 1982 away to Newport, 93 at home to Forest, 6-0 at Merstham 2004, and we were due to play Chester on this day in 2010, but that was of course expunged. So we don't concede goals on this day, but for Swindon's point of view, on their last visit to Plough Lane on Good Friday 1983, and then 3.5 years ago, almost to the weekend, to the Cherry Red, they emerged with 0-0 draws. So clean sheets, happy for the Dons to have them this afternoon, but maybe not to give them away.
With Swindon, of course, this afternoon as well, they're going to be scrapping for their lives. I suppose the real players to look out for in that league camp, very experienced goalkeeper, and you mentioned as well Brett Pittman. Bit of an adversary in the past. Yeah,
very much so. With things really not going particularly swing for them on or off the field, they'll look to whatever kinds of comfort they can kind of glean. Again, they'll look to good performances from their experienced players to try and lead the way and see what they can maybe emerge with from this afternoon's performance. But then thinking back to the county ground on the 10th of October, when we had that 1-0 win with Joe Piggott, I mean, they didn't really sort of do much on their own turf. So, I mean, again, not saying that's exactly how it's going to pan out here, but you would imagine with the Dons' resurgent form, back-to-back wins, as I've said, Swindon 3 points out of the last 30. It all points to a victory here at Plough Lane for the Dons, but of course you can never take anything for granted, and of course complacency, something that needs to be avoided at all costs.
Well, the weather's good here this afternoon. Hopefully I'll do another post-match interview with Joe Piggott in his sunglasses after the game, as we did at the county ground. For now, though, we're going to hand back to Charlie Talbot, but make sure from 5:30 p.m. that you
join us.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Yes, absolutely. Obviously, you can always join the guys on iFollow for every single game as we hit this crucial run-in period. I think we'd all like it to become slightly less crucial and slightly less stressful. A win this afternoon would go a long way towards doing that. So Mikey and Rob are going to go and get ready to deliver their commentary to you. And what we're going to do now is hear the thoughts of Mark Robinson as he prepared the players for this game.
Well, Mark Robinson, no let up, no easing in sight of the finishing line. I guess we've got to power on down that home straight over the finishing line, yeah?
Yeah, 100%, Rob. That's the exact message, to everyone, players and staff, is we just got to be relentless in everything we do. So, no let up at all.
In training, have you seen them sort of maintain the standards that they've set now that they need to be doing?
Yeah, no, we had a great session yesterday. Today they needed a little bit of a liven up, but not because they dropped standards. It's just, the environment's enjoyable at the moment, but you've got to make sure that when we go to work, we go to work. So it needed just a little bit of a liven up today, but no, again, the sessions was really, really good.
Swindon, of course, they'll be coming here scrapping for their lives regardless of previous results they've had. From our point of view, is it about one of those words that we see around the training ground, being ruthless?
Yeah, and you know, the last couple of games we found that ruthless edge, and we got to keep, you know, we got to keep searching and finding that. It's absolutely important, no matter who we're playing against. It's vital that we've got that ruthless edge in everything that we do. So you know, we'll be looking for exactly that tomorrow.
Also empowerment as well, from what they've taken from the last couple of games. Can you kind of sense that within them now, and they kind of just need to look over to you for guidance at times?
You know, that I'm a big believer in that, and it takes time. You know, and that's one of the things I know before when I've talked about processes, and people say forget the process, but I'm a massive believer in empowerment and producing people who take ownership, because I think it has long-term. You get long-term results from it. You know, you want players that can recognise situations and understand situations and act on it there and then. And we talked a little bit about, you know, the Ipswich game, when going down to 10, and possibly we didn't dominate as much as we'd like, although it was a very dominating performance overall. There was elements against 10 that we would have liked to have been better, and the players admitted that they didn't recognise little situations that were going on well enough, and that's been the most pleasing thing. You know, our match analysis sessions now are so interactive. You know, when we started them, it would be sort of 90-80% me, 20% the players, and now there's a complete shift. It's getting towards 50-60% the players, 40% me, and you know, and I want to get it to that stage where it's 80% them and 20% me. So that is one of the things that's really, really pleasing, because once they're doing that, they feel more confident, they feel more empowered, they become better decision makers, and they react to things a lot quicker.
For yourself, just in terms of the role, because I know you're saying we did the big interview at Plough Lane when you got the job. You're a people person. You like to be out on the training ground. How have you been finding things though? Because I mean, you know, great to see you out in the community with the foundation and doing the press duties as well. But is it something you're adapting to now? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's been really, really busy in the situation we're in, but I think being busy is a good thing, and I just see it's part of my role. I see it's part of all the staff's role, not just my role, to get out, you know, out and about in the community, and I think it's good for the players. And you know, we were talking about it as staff, and it's good for you as well, Rob. To be honest, it's good for the soul to get yourself out in those situations and meet people. Met some wonderful people at the school the other day. You know, not just the kids, are always fantastic. Some of the staff working there, and met the cook there. What a wonderful lady, and it's good for the soul, and it gives you a reality check. So you know, we need to do it, and the players need to do it, because you know, you see people doing real jobs out there, and it's as I said, it's a good reminder, and it keeps everyone grounded.
Just before we go into the team news about tomorrow's game, someone wanted to ask you about who you've had a lot to do with his development over the years. Anthony Hartigan, how is he? Have you been staying in touch with him? Yeah,
been in touch with Ant regularly, and Rob has as well, and Bezo. We've all been in touch with him, and you know, things haven't gone quite how we'd like there, but we had a long chat, and I spoke to the Newport manager, and you know, he's gonna stick with it, and he's still going to be can be a big part of what they're doing, searching for promotion. So now we're in constant touch with Ant, and as I said, things haven't quite worked out, and there's a few little reasons behind that, but he's you know, he's in good spirits, and we're going to make sure that we're in touch with him, and you know, the Newport manager, you know, says he's got every chance of being part of what they want to achieve at the end of the season.
That's good to hear. In terms of team news, of course, for the game tomorrow against Swindon Town, what sort of shape are we in?
Yeah, no, we're all good. If anything, you know, we've got players coming back that won't be ready for tomorrow, but it's so great. We're down at the training ground today, and you know, as well as us doing our stuff, you've got Terrell and Shayon in the background working really hard with Chris. You know, really hard with Chris, which is fantastic. So you know, we've got players coming back as well, which is great for the lads, because they're both two popular lads. So you know, and after we'd finished training, they all stopped and watched them for 5 minutes. Chris putting them through their paces. So no, we're in good shape.
That seems like a very good recovery from Terrell compared to what he was, because we saw him running around Plough Lane only the other week as well.
Yeah, no, he's looking good, and Chris was really putting him through his paces today, and we're all cheering him on. So he's looking good. Yeah.
On the subject of Chris McConnell, our sports scientist, because I know he likes a game of football too.
Yeah.
How is he? Because he's walking around with a protective boot on.
Yeah, we've told him to pack it in, but he won't. He still likes to play his Sunday football, and he's picked up an ankle injury, so it's ballooned up. So he's hobbling around in his boot. But again, it's good, because we got one of the volunteer coaches that come in and help him. So Martin's helped him out more, which is great for his development. But no, Chris is fine. He'll be fine. But no, we've had a bit of a laugh with him hobbling around in his boat.
Because he does take a very active role in all the work at the training ground and pre-match as well. So there's no worries on that front.
No, he's you know. Players won't like me saying this, but he's probably the fittest man in the club, Chris. So no, he's very, very active. Everything's 100 miles an hour. He doesn't stop. So it's slowed him down a little bit, but he's still getting around the place as quick. He just does it with a big hobble at the moment.
I know there's a managerial colleague that you want to sort of say a few words about as well, just to end the interview.
Yeah, so just Darren Moore at Sheffield Wednesday. So we just want the best from all of us at the club, and we wish him a speedy and full recovery. So I've had the pleasure of meeting him a couple of times, and an absolutely fantastic man. So we'd like to wish him, as I said, a speedy and quick recovery, speedy and healthy recovery.
Absolutely, Robbo. Best of luck against Swindon.
Cheers, Rob.
That was Mark Robinson there. Those were his thoughts preparing for this crucial game. I look at the scoreboard clock. It tells me we have 4 minutes to go until kickoff. So if you haven't already considered getting yourself over to iFollow to watch the game, you should probably do that. We're going to sign off just by telling you that Robbo's had an incredibly busy week this week, and he actually also found time to head out to some schools where he was upstaged as being by no means the biggest Wimbledon star there. We hope you enjoy the game. Obviously, we very much hope for 3 points. We'll be looking to bring you some more content as we continue to test the studio setup in advance of the new season. I can see Mike Dunn nodding approvingly in the background at that. I'd just like to say a massive thank you to Ola, a new volunteer who came in to get involved in this, who has produced this show despite seeing the equipment for the first time 10 minutes before we went on air, which is very kind of him. So come on, you Don.
Andy May from the Foundation, tell us what's going on today.
So today's the EFL Day of Action. So we're down at SMALLWOORPRIMARY where we've been running an active Dons programme over Easter. So it's aimed towards kids with free school meal and pupil freedom kids. It's a free provision. They come in, they do a variety of sports. Football, dodgeball, bit dance, bit drama, and they get provided lunch at the same time. So yeah, it's funded that we've been given through the foundation. It's one of the 4 venues that we've been running from.
How significant is it, particularly that we're just around the corner from Plough Lane now?
Yeah, it's big. It's been one of the schools we've been trying to get into as a foundation for a while. We're fortunate that we work here through term times, and now we're running half-term provisions as well. So yeah, we're pretty much here on a full-time basis, which is lovely for us as a foundation. But as you said, yeah, it's literally around the corner from Plough Lane, which is ideal.
There's a few Wimbledon fans amongst them, isn't there?
Yeah, there's been a lot of Wimbledon fans, a lot of Wimbledon kit. We've even got a Wimbledon Academy lad playing behind us as well. So yeah, there's a lot more positivity around the club, a lot more people understanding the story and what the club's really about.
Who's the star attraction, our head coach Robbo or Hayden?
I don't know. I think Hayden wins it at the moment, but Robbo's been very, very good with the kids. It's just a natural, isn't he? So it's been an ideal for him to come along, ideal for us getting along, local for him as well. So yeah, it's been a really good day.
If some of our players can move like you do, I can only go forwards. So are we good? Yes. Come on, I want to see your best move before I go. Yeah? Really go for it.
Well, Robbo, how significant is it that we're just around the corner from Plough Lane and here we are engaging with the kids on the Easter holiday?
No, it's massive and it's so important, and obviously the foundation do a fantastic job, and we've got to grow everything that we do, Chris. We've got to get myself more involved, we've got to get the players more involved, and the players realise what a massive impact they can have on these kids and how positive it can be. So no, we've got to keep growing this side of the club as well, 100%.
Have you been telling the lads that we beat the mighty Ipswich last night?
No, I haven't, but a few of them knew, which was nice. So yeah, but no, it's good, and there's already some Wimbledon fans here, and I was just saying, it's so important that I'm a local say local lad. I'm not a lad anymore, but I am a local lad from birth. So you know, we want to see Wimbledon shirts when we're walking around. It's great having a stadium, but you know, when I come out my front door, we don't want to see Chelsea shirts and Arsenal shirts. You know, we want to see more and more Wimbledon shirts. So this work is so important, as well as all the good work we do. You know, we've set the target as a team to successfully continue the greatest story in football, and I think that should be the club. I think every department should be looking to do that.
And although you were having a good chat with the kids, Hayden came over and he took the limelight away.
Still thunder all the time, but I'm used to that. Whatever you do, everyone wants to see Hayden, so no, fantastic. But you know, again, we've got the best mascot in football. You know, no one else has got a womble, so he deservedly steals a limelight for whoever is around.
We are back.
We are home.
We are Wimbledon.